Hey guys, still here. Welcome back to From the Depths. Now, I have in the meanwhile, off camera, done some work on this sub. If you can see the stern of it, we have no further APS. Two of you guys sent me one through the Steam Workshop and one through an email. I just did not get them to work. Aside from that, it seemed that they were really expensive. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but one of them was about, I think, 80,000 materials, which is a bit much. Anyway, we have this new construct over here. This is what one of you guys suggested, an anti-torpedo turret. Let me show you how that works. Where am I? There's a target there, that's for sure. Here we are. Now, I have currently set it up to number 4, so I can manually control it. You can see it right there. The only thing that this does is look for targets which are missiles closer than 900 meters and then fire. And it drops these anti-missile interceptors in a straight line, or, well, in a relatively straight line, towards where the missile is going to be impacting. I've just selected these standard missile pod launchers, just a ballast tank, 2 regulators and a missile interceptor, and that's it. I hope that this is going to be a lot more efficient than the system that I have currently, which is all these launchers on the sides. It looks nice, but it is pretty expensive for what it does. And I think that we can do better. Now, in the meanwhile, we're also coming up to this red gate, which I am going to be transiting. Let's make sure we are not too deep for that. That should do. Right, so we're going to tear off all of these missile sections here. Meanwhile, the game's slowing down, so I guess we destroyed another object somewhere. Let's just delete the whole section. I hope that that turret is going to save me, in case I need it. It is, of course, not the only weapon system that we have to deal with enemy missiles. We also have the anti-missile laser system. That's the one that we have protruding from the bow over here. This two, there's 1, 2 on the stern here as well. And yeah, we still have this empty section here. I'm not quite sure what we're going to be doing with that. I'm not really sure what to place in that. I could make it a large anti-everything battery. Judging... Oh! Our resource gatherer is above the waterline. Which is interesting because there's an aerial craft right off there in the distance. Anyway, I could turn this into a missile launch section. Which could be a really interesting thing. Especially considering the amount of funds that I have. And how much I like missiles. It could be a longer... well, yeah, let's say longer range anti-air battery. Let's see what we can build here. We have plenty of room. Let's use it. For now I'm going to have these things fired off manually. Later on they're going to be connected to the AI. The AI is protruding into the top section here. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. So the AI, and then we need a local weapons controller. Like that, and of course a missile connector. Or a missile controller, rather. I'm going to delete the local weapon controller, but I just have some space reserved for it right now. Making sure that I can connect it at a moment's notice. Now, let's get this thing filled with connectors, making sure that everything is actually connected to that missile controller. Then, the missile expansion. I think the large launcher, well, it could fit. We could fit a few of them, but without launch hatches. How would a gantry look? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's not bad for a missile that size, but I'm not sure if it's going to be too effective at taking out aerial targets, which is what I have in mind for this one. I just want to have a missile pod launcher. And since we have the funds, we're going to have some fun with this. We're going to fill it in. Then we're going to have some gantries on there. It's the side... Well, it's not quite the side of the boat just yet. Can we just fill them in like that? Yeah, we can. And do the same there. Whoops. That filled out a section that I wasn't quite ready to fill out yet. Because they're not actually connected to a launch platform. There. Or are they? No, they're not. There is another row behind them, isn't there? Yes, there is. That one. Right, I don't need those. Oops. Just took off a part of the stern there. You go over there. Right. So we're gonna have to do it manually. Oh, there, like that. Now we have a pretty sizable missile over here. It's probably not going to be too effective, but I just want to see how many of these little things we can pop at once. That's the plan here. And judging by what we have here, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, so that's 16 missiles. Actually, let's recalculate that. Not there, damn it. Rearming this one's going to be hell of expensive. Right. So what we have here is 1, 2, 3, 4 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 9 times 4 is 36, times 4 is 144 missiles. That is what we're going to be sending up. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Propulsion. Let's have some fins on the back, 3 of them. I want a variable thruster on there, which we're going to set to, oh, I don't know, 800, something like that. I'm going to need a couple of fuel tanks for that. We may need a regulator. And for the rest of it, targeting, of course, target prediction guidance. The missile is going to be guided by radar, active radar seeker. And then, how about making these things EMPs? Right. Thrust duration 3.2. Really? I don't think so. EMP damage 880. If I switch to explosive warheads... Look at that. Underwater damage almost 10,000 a missile. You can build some pretty potent torpedoes with this. Underwater damage 19,000. What's the damage that my torpedo launchers do? 34. That's not bad. Alright. Manual control. What do we have available? Yeah, we can use number 4. Slot number 4 is available. That is if I take this section off there. So that's going to be switched to all. There is an AI controller under there. And it should be underneath the turret, so I just need to change the turret. There we go. All. Okay. That would allow me to set this thing to 4. Right, so now we can launch them. Are there any volunteers nearby? I am afraid not. Okay. Hang on, 35? Aha, never mind. 35... I'm miscalculated a little bit. We have 140 missiles according to the system. Oh, it's just still plenty. Right. So here we go. What does it look like when you launch 140 missiles? Well, it looks about like that. Right. Okay. Maybe, just maybe, I forgot to click assign to all somewhere. Oh, never mind. This one's not connected. That's the problem right there. Probably because it's on top of the missile controller. So if we do it like this and then add the controller, then everything should be fine. Set to number 4. What do you mean you're not connected? Did I place that thing the wrong way around? Is that it? There we go. All the missiles are happy. Set to number 4. I am going to add some IFF here. I do not want those things coming back and detonating on my head. And a couple of staggered fire add-ons. Let's set a 1 second delay between each launch pad, so that should be fine. Actually, that might be a bit much, considering the amount of missiles that we try to pump up into the air. Assign to all. There we go. Okay, impress me. Oh! Fireworks come early this year. What does it look like above water? Bloody hell. If you think you're gonna mess with Seawolf, you got something else coming. So, we just launched 140 missiles up into the sky. The one thing I'm curious about is why did they run out of fuel so quickly? Bloody hell, they're all over the place. Why do they run out of fuel so quickly? Because they do have fuel tanks. They have 3 fuel tanks, moreover. Yeah, there it is. They don't have enough fuel tanks for the amount of propulsion that they're putting out. Thrust per second's too high. If I set that to 15, that should make them very slow, but the thrust duration just climbed up to 175 seconds. So that is a little under 3 minutes. A regulator should be enough, adds an extra 180 seconds. If I spool up this thrust per second to 75, there we go, 45. That is not a whole lot. That is not a whole lot. I'm wondering if that's enough. But what we can now do is swap out the regulator, because the missiles don't live longer than 60 seconds anyway. And now we have a thrust duration of 73. So now we can adjust that a little bit. If I go to 55, yep, there we go. Now we have a thrust duration of 60 seconds. What does that look like? I wonder. That's all the missiles detonating right there. Oh, I want to so much launch this at a target. Look at that. Can you imagine a target being caught up in that? We weren't even done yet. Oh, actually, we can now track the missiles. Beautiful. Fuel. Distance from launch pad. What's their speed? 17 meters per second? Okay. Distance from launch pad about 700 meters. Which means that at that time, we will have already killed it using a torpedo. If it's a surface target, that is. If it's an aerial target, then this might still work. Okay, so distance from launch pad is about 850 meters. And then we're stretching it. This thing just ran out of fuel, does not carry a regulator, so that should mean that it's about to explode. Unless I somehow have one of those regulators on here anyway. Yep, some of them still have a regulator. Yeah. So which is the one that I was adjusting? Apply to all is something I really have to get in mind. Thrusters set to 55. Assigned to all. I think that we may need to add some more resource containers for ammunition storage, because we are currently churning through our ammo supply a bit faster than I had originally intended. Not surprising, of course, with all of those missiles being resupplied. What would happen if I get a very, very brief launch, or a very, very brief burn time? 453. And then we're going to apply to all. Yes, please. Damn it, that's the wrong one. Oh, oops, I just launched all weapons. I had the wrong weapon selector. I just launched every single weapon platform that I have. Yeah, close enough. Wonderful. If I were to give these things a torpedo propeller, what would happen? 339 seconds. Holy shit. That's a lot. Lifetime 22.9 seconds. So I would have to add a regulator. That's 2 minutes, little under. Apparently the regulator works slightly different on these tiny things than they do on the large ones, because they're tiny missiles. Underwater thrust duration 203 seconds. It's not bad. That's not bad at all. Can we launch a couple of those? See what happens. Of course, launching a torpedo vertically does not make an awful lot of sense. You may want to start moving away from there. I was worried something like that would happen. We just had... Holy crap. I have an IFF on here. Why aren't you listening to that? It is connected to the... Okay. Well, fortunately our repair bots are hard at work to fix the Seawolf. Stern looks alright. Starboard side looks alright. Just had a lot of those things impact on my port flank. I've also lost some propulsion or some depth control. And we are slicing through the water upside down. Well, maybe not even so much slicing through the water as slicing above the water. Come on, bots. Repair those dive planes. Seems like the sub is trying to right itself. Alright, note to self, be very, very careful with these things when they're set up as torpedoes. Also, try not to do weapon testing in adventure mode, because you risk ending your adventure mode very, very quickly. Talking of ending adventure mode, this is going to be the last episode of this boat. I've decided that I don't want to continue this particular project for the simple reason that it's starting to feel like a chore. There's not a whole lot going on other than weapon testing, and I think that either taking another break from FTD or going for a surface build, so an actual boat or something along those lines, is going to be more interesting. Seawolf does a hell of a job putting up an unfair fight against the enemy. We have a significant portion of firepower. As far as we have done lately, we have done far more damage than I had expected. Oh crap, we need the Heartstone. We have done far more damage than I had expected, as well as staying alive far longer than I had expected. So both of those things are definitely good developments for me in survival mode, because survival mode can end very, very early, especially if you mess it up, which is something that I tend to do. But submarines are very safe. At least I feel very safe in a submarine. The biggest threat to my submarine is probably me, as we have seen recently. It's perfectly capable of blowing itself up. Anyway, I'm going to conclude the video here. This was the end of it. I will be posting the save game onto Steam if I can, so that you can continue your adventure with Seawolf if you want to, and Virginia, of course. If you do, let me know in the comments how it goes every now and then. What are your adventures like? What have you been adjusting to the sub? I would like to hear about you guys about that. Seeing what you change, how you change it, how it makes the ship better. And if you eventually get one of those APS systems working underwater. If so, please let me know in the comments. And if you really want me to show it off, just send over the craft through either the Steam Workshop or through my email address, stealth@stealth17gaming.com, and I could always feature it on another From the Depths video. For now, this is it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon for more videos.